First time I had read the Bible, it had struck me as unwitty. I think it may started rumor that the Lord ain't got no humor. Those are the opening lines. Actually, sorry, I started before she turned on the thing. Never mind. Alright, let's try this again. First time I had read the Bible, it had struck me as unwitty. I think it may started rumor that the Lord ain't got no humor. Those are the opening lines for Gogo Bordello's song, Super Theory, of Super Everything. It's one of my favorite songs. Gogo Bordello is a musical band made up of mostly immigrants, most of them Eastern Europeans with gypsy roots. The first time I had listened to Gogo Bordello, I didn't find them boring at all. I thought they were actually pretty good. I was exposed to Gogo Bordello music a couple of years ago, and I want to share with you why I find them appealing. So that if the next time you find yourself looking for some new music or a cool concert to go to, maybe you'll give them a shot. In the next few minutes, I want to address the influences of the band, their music, and their live performance. The best place to start would be their influence, as it involves their origins and their artist statement. As I stated in one of the live recordings of the album Gypsy Punks, the name of the band comes from a man named Nikolai Gogol, whom in his lifetime would smuggle Ukraine culture into Russian society. In a similar manner, the band is trying to influence foreign ideas and cultures into the English-speaking world. In their mission statement, Eugene Hunt, the frontman, states that their goal is to provoke audiences onto a neo-optimistic communal movement towards new sources of authentic energy. It refers to the strong idea of thinking of a simple community rather than the complex global society. In simpler terms, in one of their songs, they put it, and excuse my language, think locally, fuck globally. I think this is why the band has such a diverse audience, as I have seen in their concerts. They try to do this through their general way of being, their performances, their ideas, and of course, their music. In hopes of spreading their ideas, they write them into their songs, which brings me to my next point, their music. Gogo Bordello's music is one of the most interesting types of music you'll hear. Their music makes use of the accordion and violin. In this case, I think it's called a fiddle because he lifts up his, I don't know the differences, but I think it's fiddle this time. Those sounds are thrown into a pool of punk and you get the music of Gogo Bordello. It is most commonly classified as gypsy punk or immigrant punk. The band's music is actually featured in 2 films. Everything is Illuminated and Wrist Cutters, a love story. And they have produced 4 albums in the last 10 years. Their music is very upbeat and just really wants to make you move. Not only that, but they try conveying good messages, such as their song "Educate Thy Neighbor." The intoxicating effects of their music is best felt in their live performances. My last point. As stated in one of their, wrong point. A Gogo Bordello concert is, simply put, the best freaking party you've ever been to, ever. I think it might be impossible for a person not to be enthused by the live music. The set always flows well. They know how to pick the right song to start the night off, and it sort of becomes the overture for the rest of the concert. A good flow along with the over-the-top theatrics just makes the show unforgettable. Eugene, the frontman, plays the fire bucket as an instrument and later uses it to fill it with alcohol and then tosses it around on stage. And then at the end of the show, he just slams it straight into the floor. The band is always going around saying party, 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 but you don't know how much how much of a party it is until you go to one of their concerts. So catch your breath, and let's review what I've just told you. Go-Go Bordello, the band made up of mostly European immigrants with gypsy roots, is a band on a mission to create with great music to influence and an incredible live performance to boot. These attributes are what make the band what it is today and why they have such a devoted following. It is the reason why I like them. So I just did, like they said in their song, educate thy neighbor. You might not be my neighbor, but you are my classmate, and I did educate you on Go-Go Bordello. So hopefully I have planted a seed of interest, and maybe you'll go out and check them out sometime soon.
I don't know. I was just saying. You set yourself up for that.
All right, I think you've got the right idea with the introduction, but your execution was just a little problematic. You've got a very good thesis statement and preview of what the content's going to be. The internal signpost could be a little bit stronger, but I thought that you had some interesting information. You present it well, and you tell us where some of the information comes from, too. At the end of the speech, I thought you had a good exit, a point that you're trying to make that you leave us with, which is fine. On the presentation, you're very limited in your movements. You kind of stand in the one spot. I think you need to be a little more animated. You don't need to be pacing all over the place, but stepping up or emphasizing ideas is probably a good idea, maybe doing some of those transitions like we talked about. Your gestures are limited because you're holding the notes in your hand most of the time. Your facial expressions, they need to be a little bit more animated. I mean, you're talking about something that you're excited about, that you're interested in, that's a party all the time, and we ought to be able to sort of see that in your face, and I don't get that quite as much. Your eye contact is also inconsistent, especially when you have to flip through your notes trying to figure out what it is you're saying next. This would be one of those places where I think you'd be better off, since you are talking about something that you care about and you know and you understand, that once you've got the structure in your head, you get the notes out of your hand and don't even think about them again. You only have the one quote that you have to have exactly right. Everything else is just about the subject. You know, it's just about, tell us about the band, tell us about the experience, tell us about the happening. Don't get hung up on all the words that you've written down on the page, because that's really, holding you back from getting into the presentation. And the same thing is true with your voice. I see some of that. You're talking about how exciting and interesting and enthusiastic everybody in the band is, and because you're reading so much, you don't get that kind of inflection and force and those ideas, and so it's not translating as well as it should. I was surprised we got so many visual references, and we didn't get any audio cues whatsoever. I want to hear what the damn band sounds like. You know, I know I have an idea about what it sounds like. I can think, but it seems like that would have been a natural thing to have included in the presentation. All right, thank you.